Welcome everyone to CareerForce and More for Employers. This is session 4, LMI information. We're so happy to have all of you here today. This series is an opportunity for small bits of information, things that you can take back to your workplace, you can implement quickly, and you know then where the resource exists, either on the CareerForce MN site, how to get in touch with a person who is in charge of it, or how to find it on the deeds site. So I'm so glad to have all of you here. Today, session 5, we'll have LMI. We'll be talking a little bit about business development resources with Deed, and I'll be talking a little bit more about everything that's on YouTube. Next week, we have a speaker from our team to talk about justice-involved job-seeking candidates. What do you want to do when you want to hire someone who may have been in the correction system and you just want to go about how do you connect with them, and information about federal bonding and workforce opportunity tax credits. So that's coming next week. But right now, I'd like to invite my coworker, Tim O'Neill. He's the labor market analyst for the Metro region. And there he is. He's going to tell you all about all of the labor market resources that we have on both of our sites. Take it away, Tim.
Hi, Liz.
Good morning.
Thanks, Liz. And yeah, thank you everybody for having me here this morning to talk about labor market information. I'm setting my timer so I don't go too long. If you've ever seen me present before or just know about labor market information, you know that there's a wealth of resources and tools to talk about. And so I can talk about this all day. So I'm just going to talk for about 7-8 minutes. If there's any questions at the very end, we'll see if there's time for that. But labor market information, if you're not aware of all the resources and tools on CareerForceMN.com, as well as the Deed labor market information website, definitely it's cool to know that there's a ton of resources out there. And labor market information can be filtered down from the state of Minnesota. You can look at the United States, the state of Minnesota, you can get down to regional levels, county levels, and with some of the data, you can even get down to local levels like cities, zip codes, census tracts, so on and so forth. So labor market information essentially, when you're looking at our website or the CareerForceMN.com website, includes information related to occupational employment and wage statistics. So we can look up what are the wages for over 800 specific occupations. This is probably the tool and the data that's most useful for employers when they're looking to benchmark or get an idea of what are the wages that we should be having for the jobs that we have, for the occupations that we're trying to hire for. And this is especially so in this tight labor market, the tight labor market conditions that we're currently experiencing in the state of Minnesota as we recover from the COVID-19 recession that we experienced last year. We also have data on labor force trends, so you can look up what's going on with just overall employment, the labor force size, what's going on with unemployment, of course. That's probably our most popular tool overall, the unemployment rate, just knowing how many folks out there are actively looking for work. So that can be a really insightful and eye-opening statistic too, if you're really digging into the tight labor market conditions. Where are the unemployed persons? How many folks are we expecting that pool that we can hire from? So we can get a pretty good idea of that from labor market information too. Then there's other resources such as graduate employment outcomes. You can look up employment projections. You can look up census data and American Community Survey data, hiring data. So we've got a job vacancy survey where we survey employers twice per year in the state of Minnesota and its regions to see what are those occupations that have the highest demand. What are the median wage offers for those occupations where we're surveying employers. You can look up the characteristics. So of those jobs that have the most vacancies out there, or any job really, what are the educational requirements? What are the on-the-job training requirements? What kind of certificates or licenses are required? We also have some resources as well, which I'll briefly show you the online website. I've got like 5 minutes already. But we have two publications as well, Minnesota Employment Review and Minnesota Economic Trends. We also have Local Look blogs, where if you don't want to dig into the data tools themselves, labor market information can get pretty overwhelming when you're looking at all the data that we do have available, either through surveys, administrative data, censuses, and so on. We have these publications and blogs where you can just read about it, see what's trending, see what's going on in the state of Minnesota. If you have anything that you would like us to look into, definitely reach out to the office as well. So as a regional labor market analyst, we have them throughout the state of Minnesota. I cover the 7-county metro area, as well as any other analyst within the Labor Market Information Office. Reach out if you'd like us to work on a new article with you or just for you, or if you have any specific questions. They could be quick questions like what's the unemployment rate in my area, what's the starting wage for a specific occupation, or they can be in-depth questions. You know, for instance, looking at customized reports on specific industry sectors or doing presentations. So reach out anytime. And I'll share my screen now quickly. Hopefully this works. Might see yourself here for a second. All right, hopefully you can see this, Liz, and everybody else that's on the
Yep.
call. Awesome. So the main deed website is min.gov/deed. So you can see that at the beginning of the URL here, min.gov/deed. And what I did to get to this data for business is I went to data. So that's where all the labor market information is housed within the deed website. And you can see all the labor market information tools that we have if you hover over data tools. You can see the publications that we have if you hover over research and publications. So the top two, Minnesota Employment Review and Minnesota Economic Trends, are the two. And then there's just a whole host of different kind of targeted research labor market tools that we have for you, whether you're a job seeker, government, and business. So I went ahead and clicked on the business one, and it brought me on over to this web page. So min.gov/deed/data/LMI-employers. And here are those tools that we believe are the best, most useful tools for employers, including the number one at the very top here, occupational employment and wage statistics, that tool that looks into what are wages for specific occupations. So really good for benchmarking for employers, looking at starting wages, median wages, all the way through 90th percentile wages. And then you can also look at cost of living, basic needs cost of living in the state of Minnesota for individuals and families. You can look at industry trends in the state of Minnesota. Hiring difficulties, I should say that this is a look at hiring difficulties, whether it's skill sets or whether it's other barriers such as transportation, location, hours, so on and so forth. This was done before the COVID-19 recession. We do believe though, and we have heard from employers that these are the same hiring difficulties that we are currently experiencing very much so in current labor market conditions here in 2021, 2022. And there's added complications, of course, with COVID-19 as well. Job vacancy survey, local area unemployment statistics, the two publications, the blogs, and then of course, LMI help for reaching out to the office at any point. You can find my contact information as well as the rest of the office. So for instance, when you clicked on occupational employment statistics, just a quick example of the information that you can get and what it looks like when you delve into the deeds website for labor market information. You'll get tools, you'll get web pages that look like this. You'll get a title for the tool at the top, so occupational employment and wage statistics, what the tool is all about, kind of what you're getting yourself into. All of our tools have these blue links. Keep your eye out for blue links and tabs at any time when you're on the deed website. In this case, these links lead to either YouTube video tutorials or PDF tutorials on how to use the tool. And then below you'll have tabs, so keep your eye out for tabs too. And we'll always talk about the tool itself, where the data is coming from with methodology. There might be more data, such as through the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So we work closely with the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. And then if you actually go into the tool, hit the Use the Data Tool button, and this is what this tool will look like. And I should say a lot of our tools can be pretty overwhelming at first. That's where you can reach out for any help. But if you do take the time to go through most of our tools, you'll start to get what's going on. You'll be able to navigate it pretty quickly. In this case, you can pick the region that you're looking into. You can hit the Go button. You could do a keyword search for specific occupations, or you can look through the SOC codes, those specific occupational groups below, clicking on the arrows in some cases, finding that occupation that you're looking for, clicking on the blue link, and then you'll get those wages that you're looking for that specific occupation. So this labor market information, of course, is all throughout the DEED website, but it's also housed within CareerForceMN.com. So this is a resource, of course, that many of you are well aware of or learning about for the first time with these webinars that we're doing with Liz Jennings. And you can see on the CareerForceMN.com website, if you click on For Employers, go to Even More Resources, or if you're on any of these main pages and you click on Even More Resources, you'll find the labor market information link here. And then you can find links to the profiles, the articles, the blogs, the tools, finding your regional labor market analyst like myself. And then we've got all the tools, a lot of the tools available either through links or even housed within CareerForceMN.com. So between CareerForce and between mn.gov/deed, you'll find a lot of the data that that can help you guide your whatever endeavors that you're looking into, whether you're looking to just learn more about the labor market, if you're looking to hire, so on and so forth. So that's a quick 9-10 minute overview of DEED labor market information. I'm going to stop sharing now.
Tim,
I do like training sessions once in a while to go over these tools. Let me know if you'd like that to learn more about the tools itself, or just reach out anytime. Thank you.
Are there any training sessions coming up?
Not currently, but we do usually hold training sessions in the spring. So Liz, I'll let you know, and then you can let the whole world know, and we'll have probably ways that we reach out to employers too about what we do happen here in the spring.
There are a couple of questions for you. How current is the data? Like, how often is the data refreshed?
Yeah, great question. So it kind of depends on the tool that you're going into. For instance, the main tool that kind of highlighted here today, the Occupational Employment and Wage Statistics, that's updated annually. And we actually have an update for that coming first quarter of 2022 here. That one's usually updated in the first quarter of every year. So some of the data is updated annually. The job vacancy survey, so looking at hiring demand, that's updated twice per year. The current employment statistics and the unemployment rate kind of statistics, those local area unemployment statistics that I mentioned quickly, that's updated monthly. So depending on the tool that you're going into, it might be updated monthly, quarterly, biannually, or annually.
The other question is, do you happen to know where they pull the cost of living data from? This person's reviewing the data and something's caught their eye, specifically for a family of 5 with 3 children. It says that child care cost for Washington County is only $2,457. Is that per month, or is that per year, or
Yep.
where do they get the child care data from?
Yeah, I would, for really specific questions like that, definitely reach out to me. I'll put my my email here in the chat as we continue this morning. But with the cost of living calculator, that's coming from a whole host of different sources. It's not gonna, I should say, it's not gonna be perfect because we're trying to come up with a cost of living for a whole host of different individual and family sizes, as well as looking at the state of Minnesota, its regions, and its counties. So I would say that that tool, it's going to be more of that starting point to get that really good idea of what the basic needs budget is. It's not poverty living or middle class living. It's a basic needs budget for a healthy and safe lifestyle. And when you're looking at things like childcare, that's going to be kind of that benchmark. There could be other factors for your family that might increase or decrease that cost of living. And that's going to be the numbers that you see on the website for those different variables like childcare, transportation. That's monthly costs.
You know, Tim, one of the things that labor market tools that I often hand out, especially for recruiters who are not from Minnesota, are the county profiles. I'm just going to share my screen. And if you could just say a few things, what's in the county profiles and how do you guys put them together? Because I think they're valuable.
Yeah, so definitely check out, I can put a link for that too. The county profiles are a lot of census information. So coming from the American Community Survey, or other census resources that you can find through the Census Bureau. And then we'll also include some labor market information as well, where we're looking at specific county. You can get county level data when you're looking at labor force statistics, the trends there, and when you're looking at industry statistics and the trends there. So we've got a lot of great information just on population and demographics for that specific county coming from the Census Bureau, and then a lot of industry and labor force statistics coming from the DEED website, from the surveys and through the census data that we collect, like the quarterly census of employment and wages. So it is a lot of data, but when you're looking through it, scrolling through it, as you can see on the screen here, you can see it can be a lot of information that can give you a really good idea for the context for what's happening or what might be happening in my local area. So yes, I would definitely check out those profiles if you want to just get a really cool idea for what the county is like in terms of population and employment.
Well, and I think it's helpful too if there's a corporate HR office somewhere outside of Minnesota who's trying to understand this market, so they can look at this labor market data and then have a better, at least statistical picture of where they're trying to hire and set wages.
Yep. So this can be kind of that starting point too to finding more information, or looking into things like I think it's the next week that we're looking at helping those or hiring those with possible criminal backgrounds or felonies, things like
Yes.
that. So looking at those populations, looking at those with disabilities, looking at the veteran populations, looking at younger populations or older populations, and then of course other demographics like race and ethnicity, educational attainment, gender. So you can really get, when you're looking at, okay, we want to hire as many people as we can, or we want to reach out to new populations, this can be a starting point to figuring out how might those populations, where might they be living, how large might those populations be in our county or our local area.
And then Tim, what's the difference between the Minnesota Employment Review and the Minnesota Economic Trends publications?
Also good questions. So the Minnesota Employment Review, that's a monthly publication. So that's kind of it's a lot of statistics in that Minnesota Employment Review, where we're looking at the current employment statistics, the local area unemployment statistics, those monthly data releases, and we're just kind of seeing how those move through the months. And we publish that within Minnesota Employment Review, along with some other data like leading economic indicators. So that one's going to be a lot of data. Some of the pages are just like all numbers. And then Minnesota Economic Trends, that's our quarterly publication. And that's a publication that we more so look at what are those hot topics, those trending items in the labor market, in the economy, in the state of Minnesota. So reach out to us if you want us to look into any specific topics, but recent ones, of course, are the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the population and employers and establishments. We had a recent one on retirements, for instance, during COVID-19. Sometimes we'll look at employment disparities and hiring barriers. Minnesota's aging workforce is one that I actually worked on. That list just opened up. So looking at how Minnesota's workforce has aged over the past year, 5 years, 10 years, and how that compares to other states in the nation. So yes, that quarterly publication is more so looking at like really big hot ticket items that you might be thinking about in the economy and the labor market.
Right, I think it's notable that over the past 30 years, the percentage of younger people in the workforce has really dropped.
Yep.
It's, these numbers are going, so we have less of a labor pool to draw from.
Yeah, and the Minnesota State Demographic Center looks into this data, of course, as well. We work closely with them. And then looking at census data, looking at our quarterly workforce indicators data, and that's through the Census Bureau. And then our quarterly employment demographics data, we can really see that, yes, older workers in the labor market, that share has increased. Their labor force participation rates have increased. And then for younger workers, it's gone down slightly over the past 1, 5, 10 years.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I
Yep.
put the labor market help webpage in the Q&A in the chat so people can contact, the team, and there's so many more people behind the scenes in addition to Tim. And so they can really dig in. And if you do have an idea for a trends article or, something, I know they're always looking for ideas of directions to go to be responsive to all of our businesses in Minnesota. So you certainly can request something, at least see if they would consider it.
Yeah, and I know labor market information at 8 in the morning is not always the easiest thing. So thanks so much for listening. Definitely reach out if you have any questions. I put my email in the chat. And then another way that I can help out is being kind of like a relay too, to other parts of Deed or even other departments or ways that you can find information. So reach out whenever, and I'll be here to help out.
Great, thank you. Hey, can you put the link to the county profiles in the chat too, Tim, before you leave?
Yes, will do.
Thanks. The other thing I wanted to point out to all of you on the call, I know we've talked a lot about careerforcemn.com and all of the resources on that, but the Deed website has quite a bit for employers, for businesses who want to expand, and for job seekers. This was the original source before CareerForce MN was created. So, go to mn.gov/deed, DEED/business, and you get to the main page. They always put the highlights across the top with Building What Matters, the Join Us campaign, the Career Force Healthcare Month campaign, small business centers. Oftentimes, maybe some of you are recruiters, so you're not going to be worrying about financing a business. But the financial team, the controller, the VP will be considering how to expand their footprint and whether there are any grants that would help them do it. So this financing a business is one of the ways to start, whether it's disaster loans, tax credits, the work opportunity tax credit, which we'll talk more about next week, or some infrastructure loan or repayment programs. There is the Finding Workers page on this. Oftentimes, this will lead us back to CareerForce. And for instance, last week we had Maureen McAvoy from Vocational Rehabilitation Services. Their link to VRS is on it. Some of the workforce strategy consultant links are on this when you need a deeper look into your business. And then again, the tax credits. And then sometimes, we have companies that are considering why should they come to Minnesota? And that's where we have the locating in business. And you see, I just clicked on the Deed site and it went to the Join Us MN page, which we mentioned. So I would love it if you could get this into the hands of maybe corporate, if you're with larger organizations or with others who are saying, well, why in the world do you still live in Minnesota? I know that question comes up. This is a fantastic site about all of the economic initiatives, the culture, and our commitments to making Minnesota a great place. So pass that along as you have it. If there are any other questions, I can take it. Otherwise, let me just say, let me share my other screen. And I invite you all next week. Stay in touch, follow CareerForce and Deed both on your favorite social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. More and more, they have been putting roundtables and information sessions on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. So I just watched a Duluth presentation yesterday. I saw it on Facebook and then I went over to YouTube. And so please follow all of these platforms and get the latest information. Tim, is there anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I could talk for hours, so I don't want to start talking again too much. But no,
Okay,
this is all excellent information. Keep
good.
checking it out. We'll keep updating the data as we go through the months and the year ahead. And then if you have any data needs, reach out.
Yep. I've put my contact here on the screen, liz.jennings@state.mn.us. I can get you connected to Tim and anyone else within the company and in the agency. So thank you for attending. I hope to see you next week. We'll talk about federal bonding and justice involved job seekers. Thanks. See you later.